Lutheran. And so what we do as pastors is we leverage the relationships we have. So I turned to Tom Lee, who's known John for a long time, and Tom helped make this happen tonight. So Tom, I'm going to invite you to come up, and I gave Tom a whole 30 seconds notice on this. So that's Tom, you get to introduce John tonight.
I would have missed that. There's a, can you guys hear me? Yeah. There's a running joke almost between myself and John Turnipseed because as a trauma surgeon, I should be wearing a suit, and as a former gang leader, John should be dressed like I'm dressed like. When we hang out together, this is actually how we always look. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for allowing me to do the introduction to John. I'll take a short period of time to let you know how I met John. Because it directly, it's a God thing. It's a relationship that he and I have that we shouldn't have. We shouldn't know each other. It was June 10th of 2014. I shifted my surgical practice out of Red Wing and I went to Regis Hospital. So I went to inner city trauma. It took me a week to really realize I was over my head. I couldn't fathom what I was seeing in that hospital. It took me about 2 weeks for the trauma patient to go out to say it's just another stabbing, it's just another shooting. What we see on the news is about 1/10 of what we deal with on a daily basis. It's getting worse up there. Shots fired are 200 a month. Last Friday night we had 40 shots fired. And coming from Red Wing, in a place where we don't lock doors, where our kids aren't bothered too much, and to enter that world of trauma, I had no skill set whatsoever to even approach these kids and these families. I heard a radio show one night. Actually, what I did was stopped in my tracks. And I almost quit the job, trying to figure out how I could help this. And I went into prayer, and I went to counsel with people. And I was directed to a radio show where I heard this man speaking of a life that was completely foreign to me, but completely in line with the patients I was dealing with. He explained his life at age 6 being turned around, and John will explain this, but losing a father relationship and having to take over dealing with his 5 brothers, and ultimately forming the biggest gang in the history of Minnesota. In the 1990s, Minneapolis was called Murderapolis, and that was John and his family. But there's a story of transformation, there's a story of how he turned it around, there's a story of how his former gang territory, Crack Alley, is now Urban Ventures, one of the safest places in Minneapolis. So I remember I heard that radio show, I found your address, I emailed him, and then he said, let's meet. So we met at Crisco's in Minneapolis. I drove into that restaurant, I walked in, and there's a sign that says, "The City of Minneapolis Police advise you locking your belongings in the trunk of your car." And I thought, what am I doing in this place? But when I met John, he was instantly engaging. He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Red Wing." He said, "Red Wing, Minnesota." He said, "I graduated from high school there." And I said, "Red Wing High School?" He said, "No, penitentiary." But that's how we started this relationship. And after we talked, I said, "I need you in my hospital. I need you and your skill set working with these families and these kids so we can, we spend hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars patching up these kids, but we need to bring them across the finish line." And that's what we did. And in that time, John and I have become just dear friends and worked through a lot of things that we had to work through together. So I could have made this relationship up. It's direct God intervention, and I thank you for it, and I thank you for this opportunity to introduce him. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John.
Wow, Red Wing, Minnesota. I get it here. Okay. For the people that may have heard my name wrong, it's John Turnipseed. Right? You got it now? Okay. It's Dutch. I knew you Dutchman out there would know. Everybody else I was letting them know. I don't know how I got that name. But anyways, for the kids in here, I'm 64 years old. So I'm an old man. and stuff. In my family, I should be dead. Most of the men in my family died in their 50s. So I'll tell you, sort of quickly, I'll give I don't know what they call it, PG version and the 30-minute version, okay? I'm a Baptist minister, so, I have to remind myself of the time limits. So, Selma, Alabama, grew up with my little brothers. Did not know that we were poor. I had 2 pair of pants, one for church, one for school and play. That's it. I had 1 pair of shoes. Didn't need shoes down there. We got out and ran barefooted. Didn't go to the grocery store. Okay? There's, think of pecan trees outside, watermelon growing in the field, sugar cane, hogs, chickens. We didn't go to the grocery store for. Never hungry one day of my life. Went to church every single night. I didn't know that everybody didn't do that. Until I came to Minnesota, I found out you guys don't go 2 times. So anyways, I learned to love God. I learned that He answers prayers. So I'm in heaven. I to this day could not imagine a better life than I had. 2 grandmothers on either side of me. One was sort of mean, one would whoop me all the time, and one hugged me all the time, so I stayed with this side. But we all went to church. And my father was in the choir. And he sang, and my mother was in the choir. Man, it was just like I was in heaven. And then my father came up north because in 1960, the civil rights movement was happening, and we were free. People were getting hurt down there. So, boom, he comes up, and I don't see him for a couple of years. I don't know how long it was. But when we came up here, and he picked us up, he was not the same person. This was not the man that I had seen in Alabama. This was South Minneapolis. This was a big city to us. It was scary. We had a truck, I think, down south with some horses. Up here, there were cars moving around and trains and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing that happened was I discovered hunger for the first time because there was no food. He moved us into a place where there were rats and roaches. I'm not just talking about an occasional rat or an occasional roach. If you turned on the light in the middle of the night, it would just fall from the ceiling because they would get startled. They were like masses of them, 5 foot deep, and it was crazy. But the hunger we experienced, we were put on welfare. My father left the house. He had girlfriends now. I had never smelled alcohol, but I smelled another's breath. I didn't know what it was at first, but it came out of a bottle that I'd never seen before. But the most devastating thing is that now, for the first time in my life, I seen somebody hit my mother. Never seen that down south. Nobody hit women down south. People took care of their families down south. The preacher was sort of the head of everybody's family and set the rules for everybody, so we were safe. And now I'm up in Minnesota, no family members. Down south, within a mile, I had 20 aunties. I was never unsafe, unalone. Uncles and aunties, everybody's married. My mother had 18 in her family, my father 13 in his family, big families. All loving the Lord and acting like it, okay? There's a thing about acting. So now here I am, I'm a kid. Think I got a funny name on Turnipseed. I'm poor, so I wear the same clothes every day. I'm hungry, okay? Back then you had to pay for school lunches or bring your own. And the food that we could afford smelled really bad. It was government potted meat. That was what we had to take. And so me and my brothers would throw it away because the other kids would laugh at our lunches. But along with my mother being beat every day, I was bullied on the playground. I had a funny name, Turnipseed. I got what they call a bowl haircut, because my mother would just put a bowl on her head and shave around. So we looked funny. We sounded funny. I had a southern accent. I didn't talk like I talk today. And I was little. I wasn't a big kid. You know, I was real thin and depressed. And when I went to school, I couldn't tell them what was happening at home. So they thought something was wrong with me. Well, something was wrong with me. If your father's hitting your mother, something is wrong. But I can't tell them about it. So I'm like 8 years old. I can't tell you what's going on with me. So what do? They put me on drugs. So I had to take the drugs because they made me take the drugs. Adults, you know, here, take this, swallow this. Later found out it was Ritalin, a very powerful drug, and it made me crazy. So now I'm running around school, I'm like kids thinking I'm crazy, Johnny, now. But all I wanted to do was get home because my mother was hurt every day. I had to get home to make sure that she could feed herself because she couldn't get out of bed. You know, when she was on welfare, she didn't have to go to work, but she could go to work. There was no church family. There was nobody. I couldn't talk. My mother told me, you better not tell nobody, and my father told me, you better not tell nobody what's going on in this house. So now, me and my brother started praying, because down south in Selma, Alabama, where it was safe, prayers work. They work, especially if I prayed out loud in front of my good grandmother. Yeah. Lord, I want a pork chop and some grits for breakfast. Boom, in the morning there it was. Hallelujah. But now I'm praying, and I'm praying for my dad not to come home. Me and my brothers. After that didn't work, we started praying that he get in an accident. After that didn't work, we started praying that somebody would kill him. After that didn't work, we just prayed to get big enough to kill him ourselves. Because that pain of watching somebody you love hit somebody you love is psychologically damaging, okay? You don't know what to do with those emotions. These are emotions that nobody should feel. Trapped up into that little bitty house, hungry, and without somebody to look after you. Because now we didn't go to church. Because my mother had a black eye. Can't go to church with a black eye. Because the preacher's going to ask a question. And my father didn't let her be around other men. So now my father became the boogeyman. He became the terrorist in my house. He became the bully. My father never hit me. But I wish he'd have hit me instead of my mom. I could have dealt with that. I could have figured that out, you know. I could have, you know, absorbed that. But not mom. So now I'm growing up. By the time I'm 9 years old, I'm no longer a kid. I'm a psychopath. I'm a character disorder. I'm going to hurt somebody one day. Finally, there's a lot of other things that happened bad to me. Not only were the kids bullying me, there were men in the community that were not healthy to be around kids. I won't get any deeper in that. We have kids in the room. And I became victim to that. Because I didn't have no dad, I didn't have no big brother, I didn't have no big cousin, I didn't have no preacher and stuff. And neighborhood predators sort of know when kids are sort of by themselves and they don't see adults around. So finally I started stealing. 10 years old, I run into a grocery store. I don't even take a pack of bologna and a loaf of bread and run out. I had to feed my brothers. You know, it was stealing and it went against what I learned in church, but you know, God, I didn't know where he was. So I did what I needed to do, or felt I needed to do. Poverty will do strange things to people. But after a while, all the grocery stores wouldn't let me in there. There's a small black community, everybody knew me. But nobody offered any help. So finally I get a cousin that comes up from Chicago. He came from Alabama. He got in trouble in Alabama. He went to Chicago and he joined a very big gang called the Black Panthers. And he came up. Man, it was Tommy. Tommy was a big guy. Man, Tommy was like 6-something. Remember, I was a little kid. So Tommy's now my hero. And when Tommy's around, my dad don't come around. See, Tommy intimidated my dad. Because Tommy carried a pistol. And finally, Tommy gave me a pistol. So at 11, 12 years old, Tommy taught me how to rob people. Yeah, Tommy, the first robbery I ever did was a barber shop on Lake Street, right off Lake and 4th Avenue. Little barber shop. I went in there, told him to give me the money. He gave me the money. I ran outside and gave the money and the gun to Tommy. We ran away. Tommy gave me $20. And $20? Back in those days, $20? $1 bought 8 White Castle hamburgers. And that was, man, to start kids at 8, because in summertime, we didn't go to school. And if we didn't go to school, we didn't eat. So me being able to every weekend feed my brothers, man, that was, I didn't care. So by the time I was 16, I've been to Glen Lake. That was the reformatory. That's the first reformatory that you go to. I went there 2 or 3 times, and finally they wouldn't allow me to go there anymore because they said I was a danger to the other kid. Because I remember now I'm a psychopath. I don't care if you live or die because I'm going to kill my father one day, and I know it. Finally, I graduated to Red Wing State Reformatory. And that's where I met one of my first angels. His name was Mr. Drews. He was a weightlifter. And I asked him if he'd teach me how to lift weights. He's the Minnesota State weightlifting champion. He's still alive, still lives in Red Wing somewhere. And he said, I don't mess with dummies. And what he meant by that, he was a math teacher. He said, you're better than this. You need to get your GED. I said, if I get my GED, will you teach me weightlifting? He said, yes. I had alternative motives. I wanted to do weightlifting so I could beat up kids. Seriously. I need to be stronger because I'm around other predators now. I'm around other kids that have been abused and crazy and want to hurt people too. So I gotta get stronger. The only reason I can run from Red Wing is because of these bluffs up here. You know, I didn't have a GED, but I knew running over a bluff was a tough haul. Okay? And I remember the people in Red Wing got $25 if they turned me in. So back then, you know, this is 1970 and stuff, you know, it was just a crazy time for me. But I knew when I got out of Red Wing, I'm going to kill my father. That's what I knew. Now, I had to kill him before I was 18. Because if I turned 18, then they would make me an adult and send me away to an adult prison. But if I killed him at 16, they'll only give me 5 years. So I'm in Red Wing State Reformatory, but the first angel came, like I said, Mr. Drew said, get your GED. I didn't know how much that would help me later on in my life, but I went and studied for 2 weeks. Took the GED test the first time and passed it. And he sort of befriended me. You know, sort of took me under his wing. There was another angel at Red Wing called Father Capucci. When I messed up, he's like about 4 feet tall and stuff. And he looked like Mighty Mouse and stuff. But this guy, he was like a 10-foot giant when he would come to talk to me because he loved me. And I'd never been loved by a man, so it made me a little leery. Remember, I'd been around pedophiles. So now I get out of Red Wing, and I'm about the size I am now. In a lot better shape, okay? Mine isn't good. All right? I'm on a mission now. I'm 16 years old. So I talked my dad into giving me a job. He was a supervisor at a metal coating plant, but my real plan was at 6 o'clock in the morning he went to work. He had to take me at 6 in the morning. And it was like it is now, a dark morning day, and I was going to kill him and call self-defense because he also carried a gun. So we got in the parking lot, I pulled the gun on him, and it took a long time. He just looked at me. And he asked, are you for real? I didn't say anything. He said, are you threatening me? And I said, if you touch my mother, then I will kill you. He knew what he had raised. He knew at that moment, he had a gun under his seat. But I couldn't kill him because there was something about him that said he is your daddy. There was something that said I gotta make him pull his gun so that I don't have to feel guilty the rest of my life, but he wouldn't pull it. Thank God that he didn't pull that gun. I got out of his car that day and he never hit my mother again. And he never talked to me again until the day he died. And on that day, I forgave him, and I wasn't even saved. I forgave him because I was not going to let him get out of this world without being my dad. He was not going to get away that easy. So now I'm a full-blown gangster, I want to call it that. I got shot when I was 15. The guy tried to kill me, the first guy that tried to kill me, walked into the house, shot me, my girlfriend, and my 9-month-old baby. She got born that night. Luckily, all three of us lived. But he came to kill us all. That's the evil that I brought into my house. See, when you hurt people, they will hurt you back. But now I'm just full-blown, I don't care. You know, by the time I'm 18, I've been indicted for manslaughter, I've been in jail, boom, I'm in prison, St. Cloud State Penitentiary at 18. And I decided that was my first real gang experience because I created the Black Brotherhood Cultural Development Organization. It's a fancy name for a black gang that controlled the prison, that hurt people in there. Because now I don't care. I could shoot you in the face and have dinner with your mom. It didn't matter. I had no conscience. Gang kids have no conscience. Real gang kids, you trust me, they don't have a conscience. There might be 100 guys in a gang, but 10 of them don't mess with it. I was one of the 10. So now other families are migrating up from Alabama, and I'm the oldest Turnipseed here. I'm the boy Turnipseed. My dad's the man Turnipseed. I'm a gangster, and he's a wife beater. The men followed him. The boys followed me. Big families. I'm not talking about 4, 5, or 6 in a family. And we're boy heavy, meaning that my mom had 6 boys, 1 girl. That's how most of the families were. So now all the boys in the family followed me. And evil can manifest itself. Boy, evil on steroids. After a while, it took us a few years, and a few cousins coming up, a lot of cousins coming up, because they heard about, we're making money. We can send for people now. We're increasing the size of our army because we want to control all of South Minneapolis, which is it's a big territory. And one year they called us Murderapolis, the New York Times. I'm not proud of that. But 30 of my family members right now today are in prison for some degree of murder. Most of them will never get out. I have a grandson living life without the possibility of parole. My son has one leg, he's been shot 17 times. He will get out when he's 64. 2 other grandsons paralyzed. Nephews with life sentences. You will reap what you sow. So now my life is going, I'm going to be a gangster the rest of my life. I'm doing drugs. I'm doing everything that I want to do. I don't care. I don't sign my kids' birth certificates because I'm not going to take care of them. Yeah, I'm not going to take care of them. My father didn't take care of me, I'm not taking care of them. They'd be on welfare just like I was. And they don't have to go to school. And 13 is, if you were a boy in our family, you drop out. Go to school for what? You're not going to be a doctor, lawyer, principal, priest, or anything. You're going to be a gangster. So now we formed what was later known as the largest gang ever in Minnesota history. I don't think there'll ever be a gang that size. It got totally out of control. The mayor of Minneapolis called it the National Guard. You can look all of this stuff up. And that was my family. And that evil generated from one unfathered, unloved child. It magnified itself to where I spread a germ through my family that it's going to take years to fix. So now I'm about 36, 37 years old. You know, one time I went to prison, I get a phone call in the middle of the night. Some dude will beat my 3-year-old son to death. I didn't know what to make of that because I wasn't a dad. I'm mad at the guy, not because he beat my son to death, because he disrespected me. How dare he disrespect me when I'm in prison and I never met him? It was in Oklahoma City. My wife had ran off with him. and he got 85 years or something like that. He ended up dying in prison. I don't know what happened, he never met the guy. But I was just mad because he disrespected me. How dare you? My name is John Turnipseed, and I hurt people. So now I'm just living that life. But there's another guy, all black neighborhood, one white guy, okay, youth pastor. He liked me for some reason. He had programs. Even Prince was one of the kids that played in his programs. There's other kids that went on to be in the NFL and preachers and pastors. And this guy was like in this black neighborhood talking about how to change the neighborhood. That was bad for business. The problem for me was I'm a gangster and he's one of God's boys. Even though I stopped serving God, I had a reverence for him because I knew in the back of my mind that one day I'm going to have to reconcile with him. And I didn't care as long as I said, as long as I don't hurt one of his boys, he won't hurt me. That's the way I looked at it. So anytime this guy would come around and try to talk to me, I would never say anything to him. My brothers and my mom knew it, everybody. I just look at it. But he told me one day, if you change, your whole family will change. So now I'm still living my criminal lifestyle. And one day I'm in jail again. I've been arrested a lot of times. But this time is different. This time I've been arrested and indicted for 50 felonies. I'd already been in prison 3 times. I'm a career criminal now. They can give me as much time as they want. The first offer they gave me was 40 years. So I'm about 37. I'll be 78, 79. We don't live that long. But I said, you know what? I was tired. I was just tired. And I'm in jail. And I get a phone call. And you don't get phone calls in jail. But this time, they call me and say, hey, I'm John. Oh, who is this? This is Henry County Medical Center. And I'm in jail. What do you want? Is my mom dead? No, because my mother was the only person I really cared about. Okay, well, what's going on? Because if somebody got shot, so what? We all get shot. I have cousins shot, brothers, nephews. No, there's a kid here, and he keeps asking for you. I said, what's his name? He's named after you. I said, oh, Johnny, what's wrong with him? Well, they shot his leg off. Shot him with a sawed-off shotgun. Shot him. We've never seen a case like this. They shot him multiple times, and he still thinks he has his leg. And everybody's here. His mom's here. She said, I've never seen so many family members here. We've had to call security because there's so many people in the hospital, and he just keeps calling for you. Says you're his dad. That's the first time I realized that I was a father. I didn't know. I didn't know what a father felt like. I just thought you just had a kid and that was it. But this, I meant that much to this kid. I talked to him over the phone and it saved his life. Because he was in shock. He was just fighting. And I want to talk to my daddy. I want to talk to my daddy. Something changed in me. Now this guy has been changed. I got about 5 minutes left. I'll tell this in about 8 minutes. This guy that had been chasing me, he had started a fathering center. Okay? And I went to it just to go. I didn't know the storm was coming in my life. I didn't know that God had put me somewhere that I needed to be. He had put me in the vicinity of the angel that he had sent. So now I make a deal and I get out of jail because I have a lot of money. And Tom Lyman, Channel 9 News, came up to my job. See, I had a job because I always had a job because I was on parole. I can't just you got to trick your parole officer. You got to act like you're doing something good, and then at night I can be a thug. But I'm working at a school. And he came up to my job with cameras and everything. And he told the school people, and he told my students, "You know John Turnipseed?" He said, "Yes, I know Mr. Turnipseed, because I always dress like that." "Do you know he's a criminal?" Wait, what are you talking about? "Do you know he has multiple felonies? Do you know he's just been indicted for 50 felonies, and they think he has international ties? Do you know this guy has been accused of murder and leading the biggest gang in Minnesota?" They're telling this to my students. And they're at my door, knocking on the door, "Mr. Turnipseed," and they are crying because they didn't know that gangster. All they knew was this teacher, and these were adult students for a community college, that they loved. For the first time in my life, I felt ashamed. For the first time in my life, I felt these kids, and I felt the hurt that they had that I had put on them. And for the first time in my life, I felt like blowing my brains out. I was locked in my own office. I barricaded the door because I was crying, and hardly anybody seen me cry. I'm crying. I don't know what to do. I'm not feeling bad for me. I'm feeling bad for those kids crying outside of my door. And I just got on my knees. And I said to God, I said, "God, I don't know what else to do. But if you don't come right now, that's it for me." I said, "You gotta come now, not right now." And I'm gonna tell you something. He came in that room. I can't tell you what he didn't look. He came in that room and he hugged me and he told me it was gonna be all right. He came in that room and just claimed me as his son. That was 25 years ago. And that very day I walked away from every crooked, evil thing that I'd ever done in my life. From that very day, I told God I would serve him for the rest of my life. Because what he did for me on that office floor, he saved my life. I know he did. I know it was him. And he's been with me ever since. Now that minister guy, from that day until today, mentors me. I talk to him all the time. I get text messages. I stayed in his house for 2 years. I work at a place called Urban Ventures, a place he created. We have 4 basketball courts. We have 2 soccer fields. We have a high school. We have a music academy. I'm the campus pastor. God does his best work with snot. God takes manure and does wonderful things with it. God has no preference for how you lived your life. He doesn't prefer one kid over the other. He just wants each of us to come to him. And my life has been magnificent since then. I have a beautiful wife named Hortense. That's my girl. That's my road dog. That's who the Bible is. We gangbanging for Jesus. We ride to the gangster every lifetime. You know, that's what we do. And all our kids know it. They see us coming. Uh-oh, here they come. And I just want to say that God has not only took my life, but he's went through my family. The largest gang in Minnesota doesn't exist anymore. That's the only time that's ever happened in any state. That angel, that youth pastor, that pesky youth pastor, got into my life, and we destroyed the gang. It's the power of Jesus. So now that same territory, safest territory, I can't even buy a house there. The property value is too high. Everybody wants to live there now. It used to be called Crack Alley. So in closing, I just want to say that God, where I come from, the one thing that is needed, you ask what we need more Jesus. We need people to stop telling us that you can't pray here and you can't say this and God is, keep that there. No, we need Jesus. Because all the kids were involved with were unfathered and unloved. And the enemy took us and destroyed us and had us destroy other kids. So if you have one prayer to give away, pray that. My family continues coming back to Jesus. There's probably 10 reverends in my 10 family members that are ex-gang members that are reverends now and stuff, and we do good. I've only replaced everything I did in the past, but I ain't that guy anymore. I'm sorry if you don't like that guy I was before, because I don't like him either. I ain't him no more. He's gone. He's not here anymore. And like I said, for the rest of my life, if there's that woman there, we're going to set out to change the world, one person at a time, through Jesus. Thank you.
John, thank you so much. Just very quickly, the reason why we invited John to come tonight, and we want people to hear their stories, is while we talk about Scripture all the time and what God has done in the past, what is the most important thing for us to walk out of church is to remember that the God who acted in the Bible is still the same God who still transforms people's lives today. We'll always remember that. So I think it'd be appropriate. Sing a song. I invite you to stand. Let's sing